Piers, great interview this morning. How would you describe Samantha, the half-sister?
Ghastly, appalling, the kind of worst half-sister imaginable. Somebody who clearly wants to be Meghan Markle, is seething with jealousy she's not Meghan Markle, and is now eking out this kind of miserable career as the bitter half-sister, telling us how narcissistic and awful and grasping Meghan is, when actually all of us think that's her.
What about, you called her a specific word that I love. When did vulture pop into your mind?
Well, she had the audacity to say that this whole business with Thomas Markle, Meghan's father and her father obviously, was down to media vultures. You know, we had made him stage the pictures. We had made him take a big check from paparazzi. We had made him basically sell out his own daughter's wedding. And I immediately went, I'm not having that. I'm sorry. No. And actually, especially not from you, Samantha Markle, who's just changed her name back to Markle so she can truly cash in on this. So I just found myself saying, actually, when it comes to vultures, you're the vulture. And she is. And I'm afraid Meghan's family is littered with people who have been appalling in this whole engagement and wedding process.
And then she still thinks she could get an invite to the wedding, at least before now.
Well, she and this other half-brother, Thomas Jr., who has been writing open letters to Harry telling him to dump Meghan. This is his own sister. The pair of them should just shut up and go away. I mean, let's be brutally frank. They should shut up, go away, and let their sister at least have her wedding day in some kind of peace after all the turmoil.
Did you have to pay to interview her this morning?
Yeah, I mean, Samantha Markle charges you to breathe. You know, if she wakes up in the morning, you have to give her a check. She is fleecing the global media, and I knew we'd paid her today, but I thought, actually, you know what I'm paying you for today? To get you in front of a camera and to call you out. Because somebody at some stage has to look you in the eye and say, it's not media vultures causing all the problems for Meghan. It's people like her own half-sister, you. She has a fee, you know. She thinks she's a celebrity, and people will pay that money because she will dish the dirt on Meghan. But to me, it leaves a pretty ugly taste in the mouth that she's now become this person who's a professional critic of her own sister. And I was like, today, no, I'm done with this.
What about the dad? Why is he listening to her?
Look, the dad, you know, he's a reclusive guy. Clearly, he likes living on his own in Mexico, and he probably didn't want any of this, but he's got this. And my argument with Thomas Markle Sr. is, this is your daughter's day, not yours. And yet now you've made yourself the centre of a major scandal for no reason. He didn't have to do a deal with the paparazzi. He didn't have to line his own pocket with dollars on the back of his daughter's wedding. He could do what most fathers of the bride do. Be quiet, turn up, make sure you take her down the aisle properly in a dignified way, say a nice speech saying how lovely she is, and sit down. That's all you have to do.
What do we think is going on the inside now with Meghan and Harry regarding the dad, the conversations?
I think there's complete and utter turmoil. You know, when Kensington Palace, who, by the way, had issued statements only 2 weeks ago
For privacy.
telling everyone to observe and respect Thomas Markle's privacy, little did they know, the palace, that he was invading his own privacy. So here we have the ultimate irony. That will have really annoyed the palace. It will have enraged Prince Harry, who obviously has a very anti-paparazzi view after what happened to his mother, and it would have deeply upset Meghan, I'm sure. When Kensington Palace, as they did yesterday, issues a statement talking about a difficult situation, that is a very stiff upper lip British for its complete and utter mayhem.
That's like in Southern, bless your heart.
Yes.
What's the over-under that Thomas Markle Sr. will walk her down the aisle?
I mean, look, if he now got on a plane and came to the wedding, I think the British public are very forgiving, and they would probably go, good on him. I don't think he's going to do it. I think he's going to be very selfish about this.
You don't think he's got to walk his daughter down the aisle?
I don't think he will. I think we'll end up seeing Meghan's mother walking her down the aisle. And Meghan's mother is the only one to emerge from her family with any credit here. She's the only one who's kept a dignified silence, the only one who's been a proper family member, supportive to her daughter in private. The rest of them have been squealing like canaries. So I don't think we're going to see Thomas Markle. He claims to have had a heart attack. It's the only heart attack I've ever seen where somebody apparently spends 20 minutes at the hospital and then discharges themselves and goes to McDonald's and buys 3 Big Macs. I mean, where's that on the hospital protocol? So I'm afraid I view that with very large dose of skepticism.
What do you think that is to try to soften who he is and what he's all about? Clearly, he's stressed.
Look, Thomas Markle staged these pictures to try and make himself look better. You know, he wanted people to feel sorry for him, to feel empathy for him. The irony is, I did feel a bit sorry for him. I saw these pictures and thought, the poor guy can't even go to an internet cafe without being photographed, can't even work out without being photographed. And I'm a former newspaper editor feeling a bit sorry for him. Now I'm like, God, he even duped me. Even I got duped by those pictures, and he's making money out of it, as he's admitted now. So I'm afraid I have no sympathy for Thomas Markle. My sympathy is entirely with Meghan Markle, who's having her big day ruined by quite a few members of her family.
I feel like the half-sister, bad Samantha, we're going to call her. I feel like she left it open, like maybe the dad's still going to show up. That last question when you asked, I feel like she was sort of like, okay, he could still show up.
I wouldn't even put money on Mad Samantha ever talking to Thomas Markle. We've only got her word for it. Her own daughter doesn't talk to her because she says she's a terrible liar. How do we believe what any of them are saying now? You know, here we have a completely unprecedented situation where the British royal family are heading into a marriage with a family that is arguably more dysfunctional than they are. We have never, I can say this to your viewers, we have never had that situation. We thought we had the most dysfunctional family.